Hi, I'm wildlife photographer Paul Miguel, and in this video I'm going to show you how I set up my feeding station for photographing small birds. So my original plan was actually to set up in like a woodland area, like a woodland clearing, and then hopefully I could attract garden birds, tits, robins, finches, blackbirds. That's proved to be a bit difficult in finding the perfect situation with the light in the background. So what I've decided to do is basically go with the season, go with the natural food sources that are out there. So there's some fantastic apple trees, including the ones here. So I'm going to set up a feeding station here. I'm going to set up the bird feeders, I'm going to check the light and the background and everything. But basically I'm just using the fact that the apple trees are already here, and that should be encouraging birds anyway, particularly as we get into the winter. Trying to find the perfect spot for a feeding station for birds for photography is actually very difficult to do. So I spent around 2 hours this morning just walking around trying to find the best spot. So I'm going to show you why I settled on this one. So the fact that we've got these apple trees here, that's already going to be encouraging the birds. We've got a nice natural location to work in. And if you look down here, you'll see I've got a bit of a gap. So kind of through the middle here, bit of a gap, bit of a clearing, and that's going to work as my background. So it's really important that you know where the light's going to be for when you want to shoot. I was here this morning, so I know that when I want to shoot, the sun's directly behind me. 9, 10 o'clock, almost up to midday, the sun's going to be coming up right behind me, and it's going to shine through onto here. So when you start a feeding station like this, it is quite a commitment. You have to fill up the feeders very regularly, preferably every other day, maybe 3 times a week. But I don't want to have to come that often to fill up the feeders. So what I've done is come up with a solution to that, so I don't have to come quite as often. This idea is actually one I saw from an excellent photographer called Mike Lane. If you look on YouTube, you'll find his video where he shows up how he sets his feeding station. Really good video. So I think this is a fantastic way of doing it. So what I've basically got, I've got the pretty large feeders here. They've also got the squirrel-proof cages on, the Guardians. That stops the grey squirrels getting in, which are a nightmare. But to basically make it so I can put more food in there, I've got a piece of drain pipe, which is the same diameter as the feeder, and I've attached that with, I've drilled some holes and I've attached that with green garden wire, and then I can just basically put the food in there. That's going to keep it nice and dry, stop the weather getting at it, and also again to stop the weather, particularly the rain, getting in there. I've actually just got these little bits of pipe which just fit onto the top, so that's going to stop any water getting in there. So that I'm hoping might last about a week. I usually like to have 3 different types of feeders. So I've got the seed feeder over there. That's going to attract your finches. Some of it's going to spill on the ground, maybe attract robins and blackbirds as well, possibly goldfinches and bullfinches. There's sunflower hearts in there as well, so the bullfinches hopefully will go for them. Peanuts, this is mostly for the woodpecker, and also the tits are going to like that as well. And then I've got a couple of fat ball feeders, and you always like to use these in the winter. The fat's really useful to see the birds through, and this is particularly good for long-tailed tits. Other birds will use it as well, but I find long-tailed tits just absolutely love the fat balls, and they're one of my favourite birds. So basically I'm going to set up the hide somewhere around here. I know where the light's going to be. I'm going to aim to shoot first thing in the morning through to late morning, midday. And the advantage of shooting in the morning as well is that you've got potential frost, which you're not going to have in the afternoon. So sun's going to be over there, it's going to come through. This is probably going to be my background, which is basically just a clear area of grass. And you'll also notice that the land is sloping upwards. So it's sloping slightly up, and that just helps with the background as well. What I'm going to do is also try and make use of these apples that are already fallen onto the ground. So the thrushes and blackbirds are very likely to feed on there. So I'm going to use that. I might need to move them. So if I decide I need to move it into a slightly more photogenic position, then I'm going to get a bucket. I'm going to start shifting apples. It might take a while. But hopefully I'll have the 2 options. I'll have the bird feeders with the perches nearby, and I'll have the apples on the ground for ground feeding shots as well. So stay tuned. Hopefully this is going to be a little series. I'm going to show you in the next video how I set up my hide. I'm going to show you how I set up the perches, and then also some of the photo technique, and hopefully I'm going to bring you some really nice autumnal bird shots. Thanks for watching the video. If you haven't subscribed to my photography channel, please do click on the subscribe button. Lots of photography for lots of wildlife and landscape photography content. If you could like the video and even share the video as well, that would be greatly appreciated. It all helps to keep this channel growing. Until next time, I'll see you next time. Fly.